Hello, welcome back, everyone. So today we are going to analyze a master game, and so we can directly go into it. And it's actually Sicilian defense. And so the game start with e4, c5, and so I'm just skipping the opening moves. These are standard moves. Okay, here also castle. And from now onwards, the middle game is starting. And so you have to, we have to be very careful from from here onwards. Okay, now we can analyze the position. So here actually the black has some ideas. Black can plan for an attack in the center, or he can go for the queen side, which means that he can actually try to attack in or take control of the center, or can go for the queen side. In the game, he actually tried to go for the queen side. Hmm? Okay. So we have the options. We can go for queen side, we can go for king side, or we can go for the center. And so in the game, he played b5. So his idea is to control the queen side. So he played a development to rook e1 and a5 move. And here the pawn has pushed to a3. Now we can see that the b3 square become weak. When there's a pawn push, the adjacent square become weak. That's the point. So we continued our plan, a4, and the bishop retreated. Now we can see that our rook is almost attacking, and our bishop is indirectly having control. And these pieces anyways are in the queen side. But we know that we can look at the knight in f6. He's actually blocked by the pawn. He cannot go forward, and the squares available are these. So he found a plan to activate the knight. So he played knight d7. His idea to go to b6. So in the game, he pushed the pawn, and even he is capturing, we can capture back. There is nothing to worry. So he continued the plan knight b6. Okay. Now the point is that after the d4 pawn push, you can see now the square c4 is weak. Earlier we already found that the b3 square is weak because no pawn is to control. Now b3 square, no pawn is to control the b3 square. And now you can see that the c4 square is also weak. And he found that. And now the bishop played this. His idea is to capture our pawn. So we don't like to give a pawn. So he simply pushed the pawn and he go to c2 again. Now you can see that the b3 square is weak. So black found an idea to place one of the pieces in the b3 square. And the knight in c6 is eligible for that. He can go like this. And he continued the plan. Knight f5. So here he's developing his bishop. And so we are not taking it into concern. We played our move. So the point is that now he has two options. The white has to capture or he has to move the rook. Suppose he's moving the rook, then you can see that his rook is almost like a dead piece. So he captured the knight. Now we can capture with the c pawn or with the a pawn. Which one you choose? Suppose we are capturing with the c pawn, then the control of the d3 is lost, and the queen can go to d3. So he captured with the pawn in a4. And the second thing is that when you're capturing, it is always try to capture towards the center to get more control of the center squares or near to the center squares. Okay. And he captured with the a pawn, and here the queen played c1. What is the idea? Yeah, he can go to trade our bishop. But actually, black didn't found any issue there. But there is something we have to take into concern. But black black found that the pawn b2 is weak, so he can take the knight to a4 to attack the pawn on b2. So he made the plan knight a4, and now he played bishop h6. Now you can see that the white is having less space in his territory, so it's better to exchange the pieces. So bishop h6 and b simply captured. Queen capture. Now we may think to capture the pawn in b2, but there is coming knight g5. First we have to just make control of the g5 square because knight g5 the checkmate. That's a high chance for checkmate. So we cannot make that. So he first pushed the f6 pawn. So the knight cannot control. Now the b2 pawn is still hanging. So the queen went back to c. And we can see that now the attack in the queen side is almost saturated. We cannot proceed further. So he found a new idea. So he tried to attack in the center and followed by e5. So he doesn't capture, he played rook e3. And so we found, okay, there's other thing. Now you can see the knight is controlling the pawn, knight is attacking the pawn. The rook is almost near to the center, and the queen is almost in the center, and the bishop is almost active. He can even go for b7. But what about the rook in a8? He is only here, and he is not controlling the center. He's not doing anything. So he found a plan. Okay, this rook is in f, he is in d. And what about rook to e? Yeah. So he go for rook a7. His idea is to rook e7. Okay. So after rook a7, he developed the knight, and we continued the plan. He go for knight f1. So here he played bishop b7. Point is that the piece have to develop. The bishop in b7 can directly control the center, having a good square for the bishop. So after that, queen has to move, and we push the pawn. Because here we have okay, our pieces are almost in the controlling the center. Now it's time to control with our pawns also. So he pushed the pawn to f5. So the other point is that uh, we have to control more on the center. So he pushed the pawn to f5. Captured, we have to capture. So here we can capture with the rook or with the pawn. Okay, if we are capturing with the rook, then we are having less control towards center. If we are capturing with the pawn, then we are having more control towards the center. And don't worry about the king side. After the pawn push, okay, no more attacks is possible in the king side. So he played knight h2, and the game followed by e4. The other point is that he cannot go to g3. There's a fork, so he cannot go to g3. That's why he go to knight h2, and we push the pawn. We are advancing, and the knight retreated, and we again pushing the pawn. Okay, now we can see the difference in the whites and black territory. Here, white is having less space. His pieces cannot move much. And the black is having more space and his piece can move much. And we are having a clear domination in the center. So he found a plan to switch the attack to the king side. But before that, he found other threat. There is a possibility of the pawn push. So our bishop's diagonal get blocked. So he first played bishop to d5. His idea is to prevent this pawn push, so his bishop can still be active. Okay. And after this rook move, he played rook g7 to attack in the king side, and he pushed the pawn, and we pushed. So that now it's clearly say that we are having so much space, and literally the white is not having any more space. Now the problem is not a problem. Now other thing is that the knight, okay, this knight is not having any square to move. The rook is not having any square to move, and this rook is also not having any square, and the queen is having only a1 and b1 to go. And but this knight can go to g4. So he first played h5, so that the knight cannot come into a good square, and his knight goes to f1. Now you can see that the position is very bad for the white, and he's not having any space. Literally, he cannot do anything in the territory. And what about the black? He can activate his pieces and attack. And in the game, he played queen d7. His idea is to capture the pawn. So he first played king h2, and he played rook f6. The idea is to double and to attack. Okay, here you can see the queen moves to b1. There's nothing to worry. And rook g6, queen c1. He's going his queen back and forth because he's not having anything to do. Okay, now you can see that our bishop is controlling, our queen is controlling, attacking, and the rooks are also attacking. And now we can see no more attack is possible. So which means that we have to bring more pieces. And our knight is in the corner in the side. We have to bring our knight to the king side to attack. So his idea was to knight b6, c8, e7, f5, and h4. This was a plan because white is not having anything. Any good move is not possible for the white. So he played knight b6. And he go queen a1, and we go knights. Okay, now after knight c8, he pushed the pawn to control it, to get some more space, and we simply captured. and the queen is trying to get active, and we continue with the plan. Now rook goes to a1, so the point is to capture. So we simply pushed our bishop to c6 to control, and he pushed the queen to b4 to attack the pawn, to capture the pawn, and it's a check also. So black found a better idea. He moved the king. So even he's capturing, then we can go for this skewer. So white didn't capture. White pushed the pawn. We simply capture the knight, and then queen is retreating, and we continued with our plan. And after rook comes, okay, we push the pawn because there's some chances to attack our pawn. This pawn is also there, and so he first pushed the pawn, and he played queen, and we are not minding that. So here knight played f5 and queen b6, and we continued our plan. Knight to h4. So he played queen b8. He's trying to attack our pawn. But now you can pause the video for a minute or for more than a minute, and you can try to find a winning move there. That's a winning move. Try to find it. Yeah. So we can say the winning move is rook g2. The point is that when suppose he's capturing with the rook, and then we can capture back. When he's capturing with the knight, we can capture the pawn. He's going here. It's a check. After the knight comes, it's a checkmate. Okay. Suppose after we capture with the rook, he's capturing with the knight, then we can directly take the f3 pawn, and same story. It's a checkmate. So if you like the video, you can tell it in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe to the channel also. Okay, then bye bye.